new ultralight wireless mouse enters the market called Bolt by FNATIC. This is their second offering for a mouse, and it's swinging to take on mice at a higher price tier than its $80 MSRP. However, I don't have any wireless mice that compete with this on hand, so that's not the comparison I'm making. Although I do have an MZ1 Zeiss rail from Xtrify I'm willing to pit this against, so let's see if this is enough to make me switch, even though it's not a direct comparison. The Bolt comes in two colors, black and white. The white variant is 2 grams heavier than the black due to a specialized coating to help keep the white color from yellowing. Otherwise, the black variant comes in at 67 grams. This features a closed shell design with no visible holes to reduce weight. It comes with the Pixar 3370 sensor, which is tried and true, onboard memory for 4 profiles and 4 DPI stages, Bluetooth 5.1 or wireless 2.4 GHz connectivity, and a detachable USB-C cable, which I absolutely love, and software to customize your settings. In the packaging, there's a set of extra mouse feet, which are PTFE, a USB-C cable for charging and wired connectivity, USB dongle, and a USB-A to USB-C extender. There's a total of 6 buttons on the top of the mouse, all of which can be used as function buttons in case you want to use this mouse as a plug and play and without the provided software. On the bottom of the mouse is a wireless toggle between 2.4 and Bluetooth. It's worth noting that you can use Bluetooth while the USB dongle is plugged in to connect to different devices. Rough estimates on battery life are 110 hours for 2.4 and 210 hours for Bluetooth. Unfortunately, I haven't tested this claim as I haven't had the available time to use this mouse until complete battery depletion. The aesthetics of the mouse are plain and simple, one painted logo on the rear and RGB scroll wheel. Nothing too flashy and sits exactly where I want it in terms of subtlety. Anyways, how does this mouse feel in hand? The size of the mouse is slightly longer than the MZ1, so this mouse would certainly suit those with medium to large hands. The hump of the mouse is towards the rear and promotes a claw grip, at least for me. The shell is textured to enhance grip and ward off sweaty hands. It's not too textured to make it uncomfortable. My thumb and pinky sit comfortable on the sides of the mouse and are easy to lift the mouse to either side. The side profile of the mouse is tall enough to not have my thumb accidentally press the side buttons. It sits right underneath. Also, the stock feet slide very well and glide nicely. Now let's go over the buttons. Left and right use KLGM 8.0 switches. They have an ever so slight amount of pre-travel. Also, tapping on the top of the left and right buttons have a good bit of rattle. Here's a sound test. The scroll wheel is one of my favorites. It's one of the most responsive ones I've experienced in a while. The steps are very close together and provide a good amount of tactile feedback. The DPI button is good and the perfect size for the mouse. The side buttons are a bit too big for my liking, even though this is a bigger mouse, and they have a bit of unwanted movement because of that. The side buttons aren't very tactile either and have a lot of pre-travel before actuation. Overall, the shape is very good and perfectly serviceable for me for comfort and agility, and the scroll wheel is very responsive. My only stipulations are getting rid of the rattle and pre-travel in the left and right buttons, and shrinking the side buttons to reduce the mushy nature of the respective button pressing. Also, it's worth noting that the included cable is very flexible, which makes it completely usable during any sessions plugged in. Wireless connectivity is unnoticed in terms of lag with a 2.4 connection, as to be expected. The software is in beta at the time of making this review. Unfortunately, it was refusing to cooperate and sent me on an endless loop of updating the firmware no matter how many times I installed the drivers and software. Regardless, the critical customization functions can be still used without software, and that's how I usually roll anyways with most mice. Overall, I really like this mouse. It's a few steps behind what I would consider perfect for the price. The software will need work, as most peripheral apps do. The pre-travel and rattle should be refined, as well as the side button size and tactility. Other than that, the mouse is very serviceable, especially for its price point. Is it enough for me to cut the cord from the MZ1? Maybe. However, I prefer the shape of the MZ1 and left and right and forward and back button feedback. Again, it's not a direct comparison, but it's the daily driver I use every day. As for a wireless mouse, I would be hard pressed to spend more money on a Logitech Ultralight or Razer Viper Ultimate with a closed shell design. There are a few options from Glorious and Xtrify that are around this price point, but are different in some regard with a through hole shell design. I hope this review was helpful. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.